What's up, Cosmetic family?
Thanks for joining us on the Cosmetic Podcast.
Cosmetic means being a person or thing that gives rise to a phenomenon that is dynamic or energizing.
We're tackling topics and telling the truth.
I'm Keith Benson.
And I'm Rodrigo Ross.
And so today our topics is take a nap.
Take a nap.
Yes.
I love naps.
I tell you what, I wish I could get one in every now and then during the day.
Do you really?
And so this whole thing, there was this international study that was conducted back in 2017. Mm-hmm. And so the Center for Creative Leadership found that among leaders, it's 42% get 6 or fewer hours of shut-eye time at night.
So are you aiming for that 6 hours or less? Because I promise you are the most consistent one that when I check my email box first thing in the morning, here's an email from Keith at about 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, why is he not asleep?
I don't aim for that, but for whatever reason, all right, so for real.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna miss out on life.
Are you serious right now?
It don't make
You're
any
too
sense.
nosy to go to sleep?
It don't make any sense.
And none at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I can't co-sign that. Like, life is not going on right then. Everybody else is asleep.
I know, and I realize that when I'm a little tired in the morning time when I wake up.
Or in the middle of the afternoon when I'm trying to have a conversation with you and you're like, I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm sleepy.
No, but sleep is really important. I think in order for you to be a great leader, you got to be woke, right? That's one thing. Woke in the.
I see what you did there.
I see what I did there. I know. If you understand what woke means, we kind of got to do it. But you do need that rest in order for you to be able to perform. And there's a lot of studies out there that show that you need that sleep in order to be productive.
Yeah, well, because the reality is sleep is not like this passive thing that you do. Like sleep, there really is there are significant bodily functions that happen when you're asleep, and all of those restorative functions, I would think would lead to those leadership characteristics that people really look for, right? Like that clarity and that energy and that longevity. Like all of these things happen when you're asleep. So I can absolutely see why it's important as a leader to get enough sleep.
Well, you need sleep in order for learning. So your brain is like a sponge, and you got to prep that. And part of that preparation is sleep, and so that you get that good night's sleep, and then when you wake up in the morning, you're able to be that much more productive in your day and in your learning process. We all used to think back in college and that we could stay up all night.
I didn't think that.
You didn't?
No,
you didn't
I would be
ready.
No, I would be ready to fail that test. I had a whole story for my parents and everything because I was going to bed. I could never. I never was the one to do all nighters.
Yeah, we think that pressure allows us to perform at this better place, but it doesn't.
It doesn't. So what you're saying is like at night your brain is like a sponge. It rings out.
Yeah,
and all of the stuff goes away, and you got a fresh sponge in the morning?
Sleep allows us to consolidate, and kind of store memories in there and process our emotional experiences. The molecule, they say that it says replenish glucose.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna drop a little knowledge on you.
Come on, science.
So that the molecule, that glucose is the molecule that fuels the brain. Yes.
That's all you know. Ain't it? That's all you know about that.
But you need that sleep though to clear out your mind, for your mind to be ready again for that next day. Because you don't want it to have that long-term impact on you.
Yeah. I will tell you though that is a terrible feeling too when you don't get enough sleep, and then right in the middle of the day it just drops down on you, and you feel like you can't make your best decisions, you can't pay attention, you can't focus.
You're fatigued. It leads to poor judgment.
Attitude is all off.
Lack self-control, impaired creativity.
That's when I eat all the Oreos when I'm sleepy. That's what it is.
Yeah, because when you're trying to fight that sleep, basically you got to find something to fight it with.
So I'm fighting with Oreos.
And a lot of times your deal may be Oreos, mine is whatever's in the pantry. If it's my nuts that I eat, or If it is, get the caffeine that I drink to try to stay awake.
So chewing offsets sleeping is what you're telling me.
You're trying to fight it somehow, some way. But leaders often overlook that priority of the sleep, and you need that in order to be able to function.
Yeah, so I'm going to drop a little science on you. Right?
Okay.
So the name for that is called, when you get enough sleep, and the effect that it has on the brain is called brain plasticity.
Talk to me about that.
So brain plasticity is the brain's ability to adapt to input. And if you don't get enough sleep, you're unable to process all of these things that you are learning and you're being bombarded with during a day. Like, you decrease your brain's plasticity when you don't get enough sleep. And so you may run up into a situation during the day where you really need to retain some information, or you really need to make some nuanced decisions, and you will be absolutely impacted by not being able to do that in the greatest capacity if you haven't gotten enough sleep, and if your brain plasticity isn't at its highest level.
Gotcha.
There you go. There's a little more science for you.
So I want to drop in some personal things about this, and so up to about 30% of Americans experience insomnia.
Yes.
And then,
I think I'm in that. I'm in that 30%.
You're in insomnia,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so mine is on the other end. This says about 5% suffer from sleep apnea.
Okay.
And so for me, I wear a CPAP at night.
Okay.
Because with the sleep apnea, you snore.
Yep.
And it causes you. I got to a place where it impacted my breathing, and so I was stopped breathing. And so when I did my sleep study, doc came back and was amazed at the amount of times that you literally stop breathing.
Wow.
When you stop breathing, you know what that ultimately really means, right? Like,
you not breathing.
Yeah. So the amount of times that I did that at night, it was like, okay, Mr. Vinson, you have to do something different about that. And so for years now, I don't forget how many years, I wear a CPAP. And I would tell you, with that CPAP, it allows you to breathe normally, when you sleep.
Yep.
And it gives you this whole refreshness of sleep. When I take a nap, say on the weekends, without my CPAP, when I wake up, my body's just groggy. I'm tired. Mm-hmm. But overnight, when even on nights when I have limited amount of sleep, when I wear my CPAP, there's still this refreshness when I wake up in the morning.
Oh.
So I would tell you, for those brothers and sisters that are out there that are listening, if you do have that snoring issue, if your partner, your spouse is saying that you need to do something, I would strongly encourage you to go see a sleep doctor to be able to get that tested out. And then if you need to go on to the CPAP, I would say absolutely 100% to do that.
Oh, so the quality of your sleep is greatly improved because of that.
Oh, immensely.
Wow.
Immensely.
I'm on the other side. So I'm definitely an insomniac for years now. And I don't know if it was a function of, the mommy thing, like soon as you hear any little thing, bam, you wake up. But like now my kids, they're bigger and they sleep so hard, they don't need me to wake up. They better come check on me now. But I never sleep for more than about 30 or 45 minutes at a time without waking up. Constantly during the night. And that's a good night. On some nights, it's not even that. And there are mornings where it takes everything. And I mean, I'm 2 and 3 cups of coffee in before I start feeling like a human being. But surely, inevitably enough, by about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the evening, I am just done. And so I think I'm going to do like you. I'm going to go get a sleep study and find out why is it that I can never sleep for more than 30 or 45 minutes. And of course, I've tried to do my own my internet doctor mode, right? And they're talking about it could be stress, it could be the environment, whether it's your allergies, do you having too many lights, do you having a TV, is the room too hot, is the room too cold? I've slept in all kinds of environments and all kinds of things, and this has been going on for years. But I guess I'm at the place now where I really need to figure out why in the world don't I sleep? And my mom, interestingly enough, my mom says she has the very same. So I'm wondering, is it even hereditary? She has the very same thing. She says she's never slept for more than.
I would encourage you to do the sleep study because it can give you some answers to that right there. So you got two personal stories on both sides on the sleep apnea and insomnia. To be able to go check those things out if you're dealing with that, But if you go into other cultures though, outside of the United States, they embrace this thing naps.
Yes.
Doing the working day. So like in Japan, like that's a positive thing to have this nap. During the middle of the day, and then in Spain you have midday siestas as part of their regular work life.
We should start that.
You
think somebody would say something if they came in my office and I was just asleep at my desk?
Well, if you were at Google or PricewaterhouseCoopers, then they may not because they actually have sleep pods for their employees.
No way.
Now, I tell you what, man, a good 20-minute nap during the midday, man, I'm going to tell you
I'm telling you.
That power nap, that is strong.
Oh, what? That is such an excellent idea because there are documented studies, right? There is science behind the benefits of sleep. Like you get muscle repair and protein synthesis and tissue growth and hormone relief. You are conserving your energy. Like there are so many biological things. There are brain functions around learning and memory and problem solving and creativity, focus, right? And concentration that all happen when you're asleep. Not to mention the emotional benefits, right? Things that happen in your amygdala and your hippocampus that and then there's also a study that says when you don't get enough sleep, even if you have a good diet and you exercise, it puts your body in a pre-diabetic mode.
Ooh.
Right? And so imagine if we did have these sleep pods at work. Like that's a health benefit. Like we should bring that up to somebody. Like we should get some pods.
Well, I guess we got to change. We're about to go through a capital campaign in Dallas, so maybe we put in some sleep pods in there.
Or just say if you come past your office, go back somebody's office or cubicle and they're sleeping, just be quiet. Let them get that nap in.
Well, while we love our members will not allow us to
sit up there and be asleep. Excuse me. Excuse me. Be like, well, I ain't sleeping anymore.
Yeah, but one of those things that, one of those things deal is if you don't get enough sleep, there's this, you talked about eating Oreos earlier, but and I mean, being real here is that does lead to, eating that intake of food at different hours of the night. And that becoming like this regular habit. And so then we got the obesity thing that may kick into place there. Yeah. And there's studies out there showing, from children to adults that are gaining weight because of this whole thing of lack of sleep.
Yeah. That, science says that as little as 5 consecutive nights, 5, that's just one work week, which is totally doable. Like that can so happen that you got 5 days in a row and you didn't get good sleep. It can automatically throw your body into a spin and you can be at an increased risk for obesity, metabolic syndrome, and type 2 diabetes.
Well, this
5 days.
Wow, the one study that as I was doing some research on it says that short sleep can negatively impact some aspects of brain function, similar to that of the degree of alcohol intoxication.
I believe that. I absolutely believe that. There have definitely been times when I have been so tired or so sleepy, it really did. It felt the same way as if you had a few cocktails. Like, and I've even heard cases of people driving, right? And folks thought that they were driving erratic because they were under the influence. Well, they were driving erratic because they were sleepy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to pause for a second there. I had a friend, dear friend, who passed away because he fell asleep at the wheel.
Wow.
And so when we talk about sleep and, people, we got more and more cars on the roads nowadays. And you got to be careful on because we feel that we can stay up all night and we can go, 100 miles an hour. But then when we talk about putting that same type of thing behind a wheel of a
car
vehicle, that creates, like for me, I used to be when I was young, I can drive all night. Like, nah, man, not no more.
I got about a good 4 hours.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this anymore.
My take used to be like, we're only going to use the bathroom, when we need
one
gas.
of those.
I was one of those dads, but now when we're on the road, hey, if we're an hour in, if I'm not feeling, hey, let's pull on to the side of the road. Let's, you know.
You can't make it an hour?
Just for an example's
I don't
sake.
think it was. Well, that's all right. I'm not going to hour shame you. If you need that rest after an hour, you go ahead and take that.
Thank you, ma'am.
But the thing is sleeping, you know, you would just think that it's something that we do and it's really not important. But the benefits, not only to your leadership ability, because all of the cognitive functions that are fortified when you take sleep, when you take naps and when you get sleep. But, you know, data shows us that children and adults overall are more obese now,
right,
than they were in the past. And the correlation between how busier our work lives are, how overscheduled children are, the fact that, you know, as a society, we're getting less sleep. You know, there is a relationship between weight gain and brain dysfunction and just being physically unhealthy from not getting enough sleep. That's just...
Well, it becomes underrated. Again, because we can function at some level, but again, my experience with my CPAP, having it on and not having it on, it's I can literally feel the difference in my body, and how I function. And so you know, I count it important enough to take that if I'm traveling, wherever the case may be, I'm taking that with me. And a couple of times when I went away for the weekend and I've forgotten to take that with me, oh my goodness.
So it wasn't the quantity, it's the quality.
It's the quality. It's the quality. You need quality sleep in order to function. And I just strongly encourage anybody who's listening to our podcast right here. I know we talk and we joke a little bit about things, but this is one of those topics that I would tell you to take in and take very seriously. If you know someone that is snoring at a very loud place and you can hear them, you know, we use that as a joke. Oh man, you snore so loud, you need to do something. Hey, that person has stopped breathing.
The snoring is the gasping for air.
And so, you know, we want to keep it real. Like, they can die. And so stop breathing means it literally that right there. When you stop breathing,
you stop breathing.
Right. And so we don't want to be able to get it to that point. So if you're listening here and you know somebody that's in that space, encourage them to go get a sleep study so that they can find out what's the story with what's going on with them.
I will tell you, the preschoolers who a nap is built into their day.
Yes.
Those babies, you have the hardest time trying to get those babies down for a nap. And sometimes I look at them like, do you understand the blessing that you have right now for people to just stop what they're doing and create this wonderful space just so you could get some rest.
Yeah.
And that's because there are some guidelines around the recommended amount of sleep, right? And so for adults 18 to 60 years old, you should get 7 or more hours. But that 13 to 18-year-old, they need 8 to 10 hours per night of sleep. And how much do you have to fight a teenager, right? To get the right amount of sleep. And then if you're 65 and older, you need more than 8 hours a night of sleep.
And if you're a leader and, you know, if that's not your deal to get that much, like, understand the impact sometimes that can carry to the workplace. Because if you come in a grumpy mood because of lack of sleep, that carries over to your team and how they function as well. And so while you feel that 4 or 5 hours may be enough, if your behavior in the workplace is come as a result of lack of sleep, then that causes problems for everybody.
Yeah. Well, this is so very interesting, really talking about how sleep affects folks, huh? And I hope that everyone is really thinking through their sleep patterns and their sleep habits and figuring out how they can be their best selves in the sleep world, right? And thank you for listening to Cosmetic.
We are tackling topics and telling the truth.
Subscribe and listen to us weekly.
And don't be shy, give us a review.
And as always,
be dynamic.
be phenomenal.
Cosmetic.